Hey Vaishnava Thakur. Um, except my voice is, I have a bit of a cold. Would you like to sing, Prabhu? Oh, hey Vaishnav Thakur. We have songbooks as well, because we'll just sing it rather briefly. Okay, see my cup and my thermos? You can just pour a cup full. Where is it? Oh, hey, amen. Oh, it's on page 56 of the songbook, because my voice is a bit weak. You want to, and what's your name again, Prabhu? Vamsi. Vamsi Vilas, Prabhu. Where are you from? Oh, nice. Okay. Just one cup is fine. I don't need that. Can you give him the mic?
Forgot the tune. I just forgot the tune. Hare Krishna. Ye anilo prema. No. Oh hey Vaishnava Thakur. Yes. Yeah. Vataku. Doyara sagara. Edase koran. Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura. Doyara sagara. Edase karuna kori. Diya pada chaya sodahe amaya tomara charana dori. Chaya bega domi chaya dosa sodi chaya guna deho dase. Chaya satsange dehoye amare dopoti sangare ase. Ekaki amara nahi paya bala harinama sankirtane. Tumi kripa kori Shraddha bindu diya deho Krishna namadani. Krishna se tomara Krishna dita e paro tomara sakati ache. Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna Boli Daitava Panche Pache. Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna Boli Daitava Pache Pache. O He Vaishnava Takura Doyara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya.
Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhanki Yamuna Devi Ki Ganga Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Vrindavan Ki Bhagavatam Ki Sankirtan Yagya Ki. All glories to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Gaur Premanandi. All glories to Samadevotees. All glories to Samadevotees. All glories to Samadevotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Iti Namane Shri Varshavanavi Devi Dayataya Kripabjaye Krishna Sambandha Vigyana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premaja Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna on this earth and who is fixed at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my Master, His Divine Grace, Sri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayacha Das, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is an ocean of mercy and deliverer of the science of relationship with Lord Krishna, enriched with the brilliant conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, follower of Srila Rupa Goswami, and delivering devotional service unto you, personification of the energy of Lord Gauranga's mercy, I offer my respectful obeisances. Okay. All right. So there is so much about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta that Saraswati Thakur that it's hard to choose what to speak about. But um, anyway, we'll just talk because it's his appearance day. We could talk a little bit about his his early life. So, born on February 6th, 1974. So, you all know that this is the spiritual master of our Srila Prabhupada, and he was the son of the renowned Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So 1874. Now we have to remember, at the time that he appeared, after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had revolutionized Krishna consciousness and spread the holy name, then soon after he departed, then there was the next wave of devotee preachers because Jiva Goswami was the youngest of the Goswamis, and then Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Shamananda, and a couple of others. But then eventually, it had degenerated as time tends to do. So by the time Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he himself, was quite an eclectic searching. He wasn't born into a Vaishnav family, which is very unusual for acharyas, and his family were worshippers of Kali, and he searched. He like investigated all different philosophies and religious systems. He particularly liked the Unity Church, because Christian Church, because they worship one God instead of many gods, and they also incorporate Eastern philosophy into their doctrine. Even now in Chapel Hill, we have Unity Church, and so then he found, so he took to Krishna consciousness, and although he lived in Bengal, in Calcutta, and he couldn't find a Chaitanya Charitamrita anywhere. That's how much degraded and how much lost the teachings of Lord Chaitanya were. And at that time, like um, people thought, like anybody respectable or educated, they thought Vaishnavas were just like sentimental fools because um, in this book, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, it delineates only 13. There's many more, like more than 50 deviant sects of Vaishnavas. And it's explained here what their philosophy was, and a lot of them really illicit sex was like a big part of their spiritual practice, and all kinds of misconceptions. So Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, being such a great devotee and a magistrate in the court and in the government, he prayed to the Lord. He was like, these people, like how, like there were very few real Vaishnavas. There were a few um, grihastas and then renunciates, and neither were interested in propagating the message. There was too much opposition. Like if we were to go into, like, say, a big Christian assembly kind of, I mean, just where you're just not welcome, they have their own doctrines, but they were misconceptions. And so he prayed to the Lord. He said, please, I can't do this myself. So can you please send somebody from your personal staff to help spread Krishna consciousness? And so what happened was he um, one night in a dream, well, before this happened, in a dream, the Lord appeared to him. He was in Jagannath Puri, and in Puri even today, the governor like, or the mayor, whatever, the governor. He's also in charge of the temple. So he's the manager of the temple as well. So Lord Jagannath appeared to him and said that that I didn't bring you to Puri just to execute legal matters, but to establish Vaishnav Siddhanta. So that's because he was transferred from his job as a high court judge, and he said, "That's why I brought you." So then Bhaktivinoda responded, "Your teachings have been significantly depreciated, and I lack the power to restore them. Much of my life has passed, and I am otherwise engaged. So please send somebody from your personal staff so that I can start this movement." So Lord Jagannath told him, "Pray to the deity of Bimala Devi." And Bimala, she is, uh, they have outside of the Jagannath temple a deity of Bimala. And so he said, pray to her. So what happened was, even before that, his Bhakti Siddhanta's great grandfather, he was on his deathbed, and he said that an extraordinary sadhu was going to take birth in the family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And so then, so then finally the baby was born, and he had 32 symptoms of an exalted personage on his body, just like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the astrologer said, I have done many horoscopes in my life, but have never seen one replete with all the signs of an eminent personality. This child will become world famous as a teacher of the ultimate goal of life. So we see that now, because he sent Srila Prabhupada here, he's becoming more and more famous, and in even especially all over the world, anyone who is connected with Srila Prabhupada, we are very much aware of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So so he was called Bimala Prasad at birth, and he was the sixth child in a family of 13, the fourth of 8 sons, and what happened was Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his first wife, she had died at childbirth, and so here was Bhaktivinoda left with this baby, and his mother was kind of elderly, helping, and the mother said, you should get remarried, and so the baby has a stepmother to take care of him. And um so he did, and he married Bhagavati and then had 12 more children with her. And so when he was, we all know the story. I mean, I was thinking, if you've been a devotee 50 years, um, Lochan more than 50 years, then every year, at least twice a year, you hear the story of the Jagannath cart and the mango. So I'm just going to skip over that. We just heard it just only 6 weeks ago was his disappearance day, and Rudrani spoke about that. But when he was 6 years old, he started formal schooling and the Oriental Seminary in Calcutta. Now, even though like this was a private school and very prestigious personality, children went there, but he was never interested in anything material, and he began to study there in the Metropolitan Institution in Calcutta to study Sanskrit, grammar, and Jyotisha. So Jyotisha is astrology, and he also he would accompany Bhaktivinoda Thakur when he spoke. He spoke often on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Bimala would carry that to the assembly where he was going to speak. Now, at 11 years old, um, he was of a library. He was appointed. Oh, let's see. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was appointed somewhere, Bhakti Bhavan, for the Vaishnav depository, which consisted of a library and a printing press called Sri Chaitanya Yantra. Um, we know later on Bhakti Siddhanta had installed right next to the altar a printing press because printing presses were so important for literature. And he became expert. He was expert at the printing press. He knew how to run it. He knew how to fix it if it broke, and all details of it. Now, what happened was he also he was for his father. This is only when he's like 11 years old. He was trained in all aspects of printing and publishing, including editing, proofreading, typesetting, and operating the machines. And and so what happened was, oh boy, um, when every year Bhakti Vinod used to go to Jagannath Puri. This is when they were in Bengal, Calcutta, and they'd go there for a month or something like that. And he would give classes every day, read from Chaitanya Charitamrita. But on their way, when this is when Bimala is only 11, they 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 asked someone, "Is there some place we can stay?" It was getting dark now, and they asked them if they where they could spend the night, and they said, "Oh, there's one vacant house there that you can stay in." So they stayed there, and then in the morning, the village men came and they said, "How did you sleep?" And he said, um, "We slept fine." He said, "No one can stay there," the local people said, "because it's haunted by a Brahma Rakshasa who pitches stones and bricks. They call it brickbats, but at anyone passing by after dusk." And Srila Bhaktivinoda said, "Yes, that ghost did try to disturb us, but I loudly chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and he went away." So in the old days, we don't hear much about it now, but our ISKCON temples were filled with ghosts. I even saw Brahma Rakshasa in Vrindavan, but devotees, almost every devotee, did you, Lochampu, got attacked by ghosts in the old days, especially because the places we purchased, they used to be like in New York, yeah, well, Henry Street was a retirement home for nuns. So many nuns died there. And then Manhattan, that was actually an old age home, right? 13-story building of an old age home. So lots of people died and left their ghosts behind. Even there, like two devotees jumped off the roof, just being haunted by these ghosts. So you know the solution. If you ever get attacked, you can't speak when you're attacked. You are paralyzed. So, like he chanted loudly when the ghost tried to disturb him. But once they attack you, you just have to chant as loud as you can, but you can't talk. So you chant in your mind and you feel them struggling, and then they go. They can't stand the chanting of the holy name. And anyway, so um, they and then he said, "Oh." Then he told the priest, but the people said, "Well, there used to be a priest here, and he used to chant the holy name, and still the ghost would attack." And he said he didn't really chant the holy name. He said some people like Bhakti Siddhanta said, "I am a proofreader not only of books, but of people." And so many people are materially motivated. And he was like, he could sense it. He said, chanting just for prestige and with the intention of acquiring wealth and reputation, they make a show of that kirtan. And Jagadananda Pandit, in his Prema Vivarta, says, "Those not in the association of authentic devotees cannot actually utter the holy names. Even though they may externally vibrate the sound Krishna, that is not actually the name of Krishna because it's non different from him. All right, so now Bimala was, when he was 7 years old, by the time he was seven, starting earlier, of course, he had memorized the entire Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses, Sanskrit and whatever, Bengali. I mean, later on, he could speak and write in and read many languages. His native language, Calcutta, Bengali, Hindi, Assam, English, um, and what other languages? Probably other Indian languages, like Gujarati, but he could speak all those languages, and speak he did. But we'll get up to that a little bit later because this is his early life. So he became recognized as a genius, and he wrote Siddhanta Shiromani when he was 14 years old, and this is astronomy. And he was so much recognized that his tutors, that's when before that, he's Bimala Prasad. They gave him the title Sri Siddhanta Saraswati when he was 15 years old because he was the most, like, they couldn't find anyone more brilliant than him in this, in Siddhanta. And usually, it's this, sorry, oh, it's not astrology. It's all right. Surya Siddhanta is a complex mathematical work on astronomy, and so it's very, very complex. And what happened was they different sciences. Like even now, like India is known right now. Even on the internet, you find so much how so much has come from India in the way of science and mathematics, and even here our whole computer industry is run by probably 75% Indians, even in America. But just like they just have so much intelligence, when they're educated. And I think I attribute a lot of it to their austerity. They learn tolerance right from birth. First of all, they live in a room with lots of other people, the whole family in one room. Oh, sorry, my husband's like, he's always like, I talk too much Prajolpa. That's Prajolpa. Okay, sorry. All right. So anyway, so he was like that, so brilliant. So then he just wanted to get into Krishna consciousness. You know how when he at the college when he went to college, he had a debate with the principal of the college. It was very unpleasant, and then he thought, I'm just going to drop out because he's such a great student, and if you're very intelligent, then you could get a good job. And then if you get a good job, then all of the fathers and mothers, they're going to try to get their daughters married to you. So he said, I'm just going to quit college, first of all, because of, having this debate with the principal of the college. And for that, I don't want to be browbeaten to enter family life. But if they just perceive me as a good for nothing, then no one's going to want to marry their daughter to me anyway. So I'll just find an honest job. And he became a tutor. Um, and the one reason he became a tutor of particular, like a royal family, because they had a vast library. So he could take advantage, and he could study all those books. And they asked him to write also like a history of their lineage, of their political royal lineage. And so then eventually he also quit that as well. And as far as the Jyotisha, he had lost interest in it, but he had many students before that, and they asked him, there's going to be a big debate with the world's most renowned scholar in this. So can you debate him? Said, I'm not really interested, but okay. And so he did. And this man was elderly. And when he heard Bhakti Siddhanta speak, he passed stool and urine right there in his pants because he knew I'm finished. Like he's way better than me. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta never again spoke about it. He just gave it up. And and he was so very austere, and he observed chaturmasya, and where they just eat once a day, khichdi with no salt, no spices, and on the floor, and like a cow, hands behind the back, and bowing down and eating off the floor only once. You can't sit up and go back. Whatever you can eat while you're down. And he did that, and only that was, yeah. Oh, it was not khichdi. It was only, um, you know, only rice, even just rice. And he didn't shave or cut his nails or anything. He slept on the floor, on the earthen floor, not even a little straw mat under him. But he became so emaciated and actually sick, but he wouldn't go to a doctor. Neither did he allow his disciples to go to doctors. You know that? Said you can't go to doctors, and no bodybuilding in the ashram. He said that no one can go to the gym if you live in the ashram. And also, if you do have to go, like to get some medicine, then you can't use any of the vehicles. The vehicles, that's only for preaching. And so if you're doing anything other than preaching, like buying anything, going to get a pair of socks or going to get medicine, then you have to walk, and walk barefoot too. Almost everyone walked barefoot anyway at that time. And so Bhaktivinoda, though, he chastised him for this self denial. He said it's not necessary. And so then he desisted after that. That's when he was 23 years old. He would do for 4 months. So then, when he was, let's see, he did a lot of editing work. So then he told his father, I need a guru, I need a spiritual teacher. So he said, I know who, Gorkishore Das Babaji. He spent 30 years in Vrindavan, and then he had just come to Navadvip very recently. He came to Navadvip Dham, and because he wanted to have darshan, because the deities of Sri Gaura Vishnu Priya at the newly revealed birth site of Lord Chaitanya. So that's so recent. That was in 1898, which is rather recent. And so imagine Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. Here's Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I'm sorry, Bhakti Siddhanta, like erudite as can be, and very moral, and upright citizen, and and so highly educated. But this renunciation personified Sakshad Vairagya Murti, Gorky Shore. He rejected all bodily comforts, and he didn't even have a house or anything. He just found by the Ganges a boat that was, he just overturned so water wouldn't get in it, and he would just sleep under there if need be. And he made he rejected all comforts. He ate raw earth, just dirt, uncooked rice, and other items generally considered inedible. He shunned company, and he had no patience for pretenders posing as devotees, and he ignored or vituperated, like he just chastised them, and so like that. And for several months he lived in a bathroom, because no one would go there except if they had to, and only for a short amount of time as possible. So he didn't want people bothering him, and the only clothes that he had, at the cremation, the body's wrapped in cloth, and after the body, they take it off to burn the body, and he would take that for his clothes, but sometimes no clothes at all. So real, real Abaduta and Vajananandi. So what happened now that Bhakti Siddhanta approached him. Well, oh yeah, he was just Siddhanta Saraswati at that time before initiation, and he asked him, and let's see, so he Babaji was illiterate, cranky, and crude. He could not even write his own name, and he would, if anyone asked him for initiation, he would just vehemently refuse them, and even sometimes he beat them with his umbrella. Well, so um, he also declined this disciple, which shook Bhakti Siddhanta because many gurus wanted him for their disciple, and he's like, no way. I know they just want me for their reputation that I have this great disciple. And Babaji Maharaj told him, I once accepted a disciple, but he cheated me and went away. I will not make any further disciples. But Saraswati, he was like relentless. He said, please, please, please. He begged him. And he said, all right, I'll ask Mahaprabhu. If he gives permission, then I'll do it. So and this story you heard at least 100 times too. If you've been here 50 years, at least twice a year. so, so he said, so he came back a few days later and he said, what did Mahaprabhu say? I forgot to ask him. Come back in a few days. And then I forgot to ask him. Third time, he said, he said, I asked him, but he didn't say anything. So he said, no, I didn't receive the command. He didn't tell me to do it. He didn't say not to do it, but he didn't tell me to do it. So then then Siddhanta Saraswati, he just, repeated this prayer, Karuna na haila kandia kandia prana na rakibo ara. Without your mercy, weeping and weeping, I will no longer sustain my life. And so he said, I'm like, I really, really don't want to live anymore if I can't even have a guru. So then, seeing that he's so determined for this and his desire is genuine and he's so committed, he told him, okay, go there and bathe in the Saraswati River and then come back and I'll initiate you. So Bhakti Siddhanta said, when out of false ego I was thinking, I am a great scholar of mathematics and philosophy, let any big pundit come at any time, day or night, and I will cut his propositions to pieces. At that time, I got the darshan of the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev. He ignored everything that was previously appreciated in me, my truthfulness, my moral and pious life, and my intellectualism, knowing them to be of little value. When I saw that he ignored whatever was good in me, I realized how good he himself must be, who could neglect so many, quote, good qualities in me. What inconceivable wealth he possessed. So he thought, wow, like I am so fallen. My actual identity is fallen. And he said, I had considered my Gurudev to be unequaled in vairagya. I mean, yeah, unequal. No one could surpass him in vairagya, renunciation, but somewhat sort of learning. But he reduced to powder my audacity born of book learning. With the matter of his mercy, he revealed that whatever I had adjudged to be the highest ideal was in fact most low and despicable. When, by his grace, that instruction first entered my ears, My diminutive brain lacked the capacity to accommodate such transcendental knowledge. But to all fools like me, he gave the chance to hear such lofty topics. So, so then, he was saying that I got this jerk from my guru, and for 1 year after initiation, I lost all sense of external cosmos. I do not know whether any transcendental agent equal to him has ever appeared in this plane. How may those who are preoccupied with worldly lust, anger, and so on ever know him? And so his Gorkishore Das Babaji told him, reject your knowledge, purity, and aristocracy and come close to me. Don't go anywhere else. Whatever you require, as many rooms, houses, palaces, and mansions, as much scholarship, skills, self control, and renunciation you will get. Simply come close to me. And so he said, so when he met him. Now, one time, he was going on a preaching tour in East Bengal and crossing the water from over the Ganges in a streamer. And there was one gentleman with him, and this gentleman accompanying him on the preaching tour, he said, I have a question for you, that you're a ghosty Anandi. You're like a preacher and a speaker, and your whole life and outlook is quite different from your guru. And he's a peaceful bhajan Anandi. And he said, how can that be? And then Saraswati excitedly replied, there's no disparity whatsoever in our purpose and intent. Now, he said, do you hear that? Do you hear the motor of the boat? Click, click, clang, clang, click, clang, click, clang, click. Yeah. Well, that motor, which is powering this boat, is being powered by a little battery. And that battery is small, silent. You can't even see it. It doesn't even move. But it's the source of power for this whole operation. Similarly, my Guru Maharaj was sitting and chanting, and he didn't mix with the public, but he is the battery for all my activities. Without him, I am nothing. So we see, and and also like even later on, like at the very end of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta's life, the last year of his life, already the mission, his mission was splitting. Like we have many splinter groups. There was a splinter. Those who like Kunjabi, he was the manager, lifelong manager, and on his deathbed. And if you go to the Chaitanya Mat in Mayapur, you see they have a murti of him there. He became an acharya, guru after Bhakti Siddhanta. But he was a manager, and he asked him, please continue managing for life. And then there was Ananta Vasudev, which very unfortunately had a terrible ending, but um, he was a great scholar, and so very much into study and writing, and so they kind of had a clash in a way. But Bhakti Siddhanta said that the temples, there has to be always Krishna Katha. That's what temples are for. So that there's always this transcendental vibration of glorifying the Lord. And so he was telling like the camp of Kunjabi that yeah, this is very important what they're doing, because they were thinking they're just like lazy. They don't want to do any service or anything. They're just always like studying books and kind of criticizing that. And then but how both are necessary, how management is so much necessary for the propagation of Krishna consciousness as well. All right. So and then in Puri, do you know we heard many times how his life was threatened because he was intent, on exposing nonsensical philosophy, and so his life was threatened many times. So all glories to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and please remember him today. There's lots, lots to hear on YouTube about him, and lots and lots to read. He wrote a lot of books, and I just heard that Bhakti Vikas Swami's writing more volumes because he got more information. So it's going to expand even more. And he's doing one on Srila Prabhupada in this kind of mood, about his teachings, and all glories to Sri Sri Radhagolokananda. Oh, yeah, half day fast today, just water is permitted. Die.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvanda Paravindanalayatakam Bhagavatam Samasitam Purasundaram Dandar Tatom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananiya Sasakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Pikayanti Viranti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Dala Vigrasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutam Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadbhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayataya Vibhavjaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Yojtvala Premaja Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarane Rupanuga Virudapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gora Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipalamba Yasambode Padambujaya Te Namaha Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gora Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Goravir Bhava Bhumestvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Sri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Pancha Tattvatsmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Namo Maha Vajanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tuse Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Trigatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sudato Pangor Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvaspa Padambojo Radha Matana Mohano Divyad Vrindarananya Kalpa Drumada Srimad Vachnagara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Pestalibi Sevyamano Smarami Sriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamshivata Tatastitaha Karshan Venu Smanayar Gopir Gopinata Striye Stunaha Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravaktarinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare. So you're gonna offer flowers 9 times, so save enough. So yeah, 9. Yeah, we do 3, 3, 3, but I know others don't do that. But all right, so Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Desha Pushpanjali. Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki. Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayataya Kripabjaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Esha Pushpanjali. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namini Esha Pushpanjali Esha Pushpanjali Esha Pushpanjali Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Anna Padma Kevala Bhakti Satma Vando Mui Savadana Mate Yahara Prasade Jai E Baba Toria Yahara Prasade Jai E Baba Toria Yahara Krishna Prati Hoya Hoite Prati Hoya Hoite Krishna Prati Hoya Hoite Prati Hoya Guru Padma Vyakya Tete Koviya Kya Padma Kya Tete Koviya